Hi, and welcome to my living room. All right, so today we're just going to review a little bit about cell membrane structure and permeability. These are things you need to answer the FRQ that I've assigned for you this week. So, if you remember the plasma membrane, so plasma membranes, they surround every cell in your body. So the important things that we need to review, remember we have a phosphate group, and then we have fatty acids. So the phosphate group, that's our hydrophilic area, and the fatty acid, that's our hydrophobic area. So the purpose of this membrane, remember, is to keep things out of the cell I want out of the cell, and to keep things in the cell I want in the cell. And it's this barrier that regulates transport. So when we start to look at this membrane, remember this membrane is selectively permeable, which means that it allows some things to pass, and then other things need either a carrier protein, something that brings it across, or it needs some sort of ligand-gated ion channel, so something that opens up a protein channel so things fall through. All right, so let's move on. So membrane components. So remember phospholipids. So if you remember phospholipids, these structures over here, right? So those are our phospholipids. Get my pen active again. So these are our phospholipids right here. So if you remember that phospholipid, we have glycerol, and then we have fatty acids, right? And so this OH here makes OL, and that's what makes this outer end where the phosphate is permeable. Okay, so remember it's often called a sea of phospholipids, and the sea, really what they mean is always moving. So these membrane proteins that are sitting inside this channel here are always moving in one direction or moving in another direction, right? So it's not stationary, right? So the movement is constant. Some important parts of it, cholesterol. Remember, we have cholesterol. Now, cholesterol, right, is an unsaturated fatty acid. So cholesterol creates bends. So this creates bends, and that bend makes more fluid. So those bends make it more fluid, right? But the important thing, it makes it more rigid at higher temperatures, right? And more liquid. So lower temperatures at which it solidifies. So at lower temperatures, it's so really what this cholesterol does, at higher temperatures, it keeps it from coming apart, and at lower temperatures, it keeps it from freezing. Okay, so cholesterol is a really important part. And then the unsaturated fatty acids. So the unsaturated fatty acids, let me highlight that for you. So the unsaturated fatty acids, those are ones without bends, right? So it makes the membrane more fluid. So, but these unsaturated fatty acids, if the temperature got really low and you didn't have cholesterol, the cell would just simply freeze, right? So really important to have cholesterol because I've seen that show up on FRQs more than once. All right, and then membrane proteins. Membrane proteins are important, right? Really, as far as what we're going to talk about, so these membrane proteins form channels, right? And these channels allow facilitated diffusion. Right? So when a ligand attaches, right, it opens up a channel, and that allows ions to flow, right? And those ions flowing can either allow us to establish a gradient, right, or depolarize a gradient, which we'll talk about later. And there's other types of proteins as well, but that's what you need to answer the FRQ today, right? All right, so that's it. I'll give you another review coming up, but talk to you soon.